Hello friends, I am Sunil Ranjan and I am an English teacher. Now here in this session I have come up with the explanation of the poem Out of the Cradle Endlessly Rocking by Walt Whitman. Out of the Cradle Endlessly Rocking is one of Whitman's wonderful poems because of his use of image and symbol. The title of the poem itself is a symbol of birth. The sun and the moon, the land and the sea, and the stars and the sea waves contribute significantly to the mood of the poem. The images deepen the effect of the emotions in the poem and are part of the dramatic structure. The poem is lovingly melodious and rhythmic. Its use of dactylic and trochaic meter is very appropriate in describing the motion of the sea waves and their meaning. When the poet sees the unending rocking cradle of the sea waves, a memory comes back to him. He recalls that as a child, he left his bed and wandered alone, bareheaded, barefoot, in search of the mystery of life and death. He is a man now, but by these tears a little boy again, and he throws himself on the shore, confronting the waves. He is a chanter of pains and joys. He uses all his experiences and goes beyond them. The experience he now recalls is that on the Paumanok seashore, way back, a day in May, when lilac flowers were in full bloom, he observed two mocking birds, feathered guests from Alabama. The female crouched on her nest, silent, and the male went to and fro near at hand. The birds sang of their love. The words two together marked their existence. One day the female disappeared, maybe killed, unknown to her mate, as the line says. The male anxiously waited for her. He addressed the wind, "I wait and wait till you blow my mate to me." His song touched the heart of the curious boy, who treasured every note, for he understood the meaning of the bird, whom he called his brother. The bird's cry or aria or the song affected the boy deeply. Every shadow seemed to the bird disappearing. He had loved, but now they are no more together. The notes of the bird were echoed by the complaining sea, the fierce old mother. The boy eagerly asked the sea to let him know the meaning, the word final, superior to all. Before daybreak, the sea whispered to the poet the delicious word death, death, death. In his experience, the boy attempted to fuse the vision of the sea with that of the bird, and this acknowledgement marked the birth of the poet in him. The bird, the solitary singer, was a projection of the boy's consciousness. The sea, like the old crone rocking the cradle, whispered the key word in his ears. The present title suggests a word from the sea, and that word is death, which is the second phase in the process of birth, death, rebirth. The poem is an elegy. It is based on an intensely personal experience of the poet. The poet asserts the triumph of the eternal life over death. The meaning of the poem is not stated clearly, but it springs naturally from a recollection of the narrator's childhood days. Whitman imaginatively recreates the childhood experience of his inquiring lad. Yes, Whitman imaginatively recreates the childhood experience of this inspiring lad and shows how the boy becomes a man and then a poet. The poem marks the growth of the consciousness of the poet. Memory plays an important role in his dramatic development. First, the boy tries to absorb the moving song of the mockingbird. Later, the boy replaces the bird as a significant character in the drama because he attempts to fuse the substance of the bird's song with the secret emanating from the sea. This fusion, in essence, is the poem. The word death is delicious because it is a precondition for rebirth. Thus, the secret of life which the boy learns from the sea is the continual pattern of birth, death, rebirth. Unlike most of Whitman's poems, Out of the Cradle has a clear plot line. A young boy watches a pair of birds nesting on the beach near his home and wonders at their relationship to one another. One day the female bird fails to return. The male stays near the nest, calling for his lost mate. The male's cries touch something in the boy, and he seems to be getting the meaning of what the bird is saying. He grows very, very sad, and tears roll down his eyes. He asks nature to give him the one word superior to all. In the rustle and ripple of the ocean at his feet, he defects the word death, which continues along with the bird's song to have a presence in his poem. In this poem, death has been shown to be a real lesson a child must learn. Only the realization of death can lead to emotional and artistic maturity. Death, to Whitman, marks the place of the individual in the universe. It is a means for achieving perspective. While man's thoughts may seem profound and unique, one's life is limited. Thus, the contemplation of death allows one to move beyond oneself and consider the whole. In the end, the bird, although functionally important in Whitman's development, is insignificant in the face of the abstract sea. Death, which happens to be the ultimate reality. Thus, Out of the Cradle can be described as a poem about the birth of the poet. It can also be read as a poem about the death of the self. So friends, here I come to the end of this session, and if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, do subscribe to this channel because you'll find many interesting things for you, and I make sure that the quality of whatever I give is up to the mark. Thank you.